When a property deed is recorded, it means that the signed deed is officially entered into the county's public land records. This process creates an official notice of ownership, so everyone knows who legally owns the property. Recording the deed also helps preserve the title history, which is important for verifying ownership and preventing disputes in the future. Essentially, recording the deed makes the transfer of ownership transparent and part of the public record, ensuring legal protection for property owner. When we talk about property ownership, the core concept to understand is the deed. The deed is your legal proof of ownership. It's a signed document that officially shows who holds a title to a property and is used to transfer ownership from one person to another. Essentially, the deed is the ownership document itself. Once it's recorded, meaning officially filed with the appropriate government office, the ownership becomes part of the public record. This recording is crucial because it provides transparency and legally protects your ownership rights. So, the deed and its recording are fundamental to establishing and proving who owns a property. Let's talk about the basics of a property deed. Essentially, a property deed is the legal document that officially describes ownership of real estate and proves that a transfer of property has taken place. First, it's important to understand that a deed is a signed legal instrument. This means it's a formal written document that clearly identifies the property in question and names the parties involved, both the seller and the buyer. Secondly, the deed plays a crucial role in transferring ownership. When a deed is properly signed and delivered, it legally transfers the title from the current owner to the new owner, called the grantee. This is how ownership rights are conveyed in a real estate transaction. Finally, deeds are usually recorded in public records. While recording the deed doesn't create it or make the transfer valid on its own, it adds the transaction to official land records. This public record acts as a notice and creates a historical record of ownership, helping protect the new owner's rights and provide transparency. When you have a deed without recording it, what you essentially have is a private document. It might be signed and valid between the parties involved, but it doesn't provide notice to others or the public. This means that while you technically own the property, your ownership isn't visible in official records, which can lead to disputes or challenges. On the other hand, when you record your deed, it becomes a matter of public record. This public notice is crucial because it establishes your ownership openly and officially in the county records. Recording your deed strengthens your legal standing and priority if any disputes arise. The key takeaway is that recording your deed isn't just a formality. It transforms your ownership into public protection, ensuring that your rights are recognized and defended in the eyes of the law. Let's walk through the process of recording a property deed. First, in step 1, the deed is signed. This is the critical initial action that shows the transfer of ownership. Then, in step 2, the signed deed is submitted to the recorder's office, which is responsible for handling these documents. Next, step 3 involves the document being reviewed carefully to ensure all details are accurate and complete. After that, in step 4, the deed is officially filed in the public record, making the transfer of ownership legally recognized and accessible to the public. Finally, in step 5, an official copy of the recorded deed is issued. This final document serves as proof that the deed is now part of the permanent public record. Each of these steps is essential because they create a clear, traceable record of ownership, helping protect property rights and ensuring transparency. When it comes to property deed recording, the key point is that deeds are officially recorded in the local public records office, specifically in the county where the property is located. This is important because the deed recording happens at the property's location, not the buyer's residence. In many states, the county clerk's office handles these real estate filings and keeps the archives. In some places, there's a dedicated recorder of deeds office, which manages deeds, mortgages, and related documents. The title for this office varies. It could be called a county recorder or register, but regardless of name, their role is the same, maintaining the official public land records. So, no matter where you live, the deed gets filed where the property sits, ensuring clear, accessible records for that specific area. This typical location is crucial for ensuring proper legal documentation and public access to land records. When deeds are recorded, they become part of the public record. This means anyone can search for and access these documents. Typically, once a deed is filed, It's available through the county recorder's office. Nowadays, many counties also provide online databases where you can easily look up land records. The key takeaway is that recorded deeds are publicly accessible, ensuring transparency and providing important information about property ownership. When it comes to legal protection, one of the most important steps you can take is to record your deed. Think of recording as a way to officially document your ownership, which makes your claim much stronger. By doing this, you're creating a public record that shows you hold the rights, making it easier to defend those rights if any disputes arise. There are three key protections that come with recording. First, it provides a public record. This means your ownership is officially entered into public documents for everyone to see. Second, recording gives constructive notice. That means once your deed is recorded, the entire world is put on notice that you have an ownership interest in the property. This helps prevent others from claiming ignorance if issues come up later. Finally, recording establishes priority in disputes. If conflicting claims or later transfers occur, having your deed recorded early can strengthen your position. And lastly, it creates a chain of title documentation. This is a continuous history of ownership that helps verify your title over time, making sure your ownership remains clear and undisputed. In essence, recording your deed is a key to making your ownership official, transparent, and defendable. It's how you stand stronger and protect your rights. Here we see how property ownership is documented and traced through recorded deeds. It starts with the grantor, the first recorded owner in the modern title history. When this owner transfers a property, a new deed is recorded, establishing the second owner. This process repeats, with each new deed linking the current owner back to the previous one, creating a continuous chain of title. Each recorded deed serves as a legal record, showing a clear timeline of ownership transfers. The most recent recorded deed represents the current owner, completing the ownership history. This system ensures transparency and legal clarity, as the title history is built one recorded deed at a time, making it possible to trace the property's ownership from the original owner to you today. The core problem here is the difficulty in proving ownership when a deed is not properly recorded. If no one can easily find a deed, it becomes much easier for someone to challenge your claim. Without recording the deed, ownership becomes significantly riskier. An unrecorded deed might still exist, but it's much harder to prove and protect your rights if any issues arise. For example, duplicate claims can occur if another buyer or lender appears to have a stronger public record, which complicates things even more. Additionally, if important paperwork is lost or challenged, your evidence of ownership weakens considerably. This absence of public notice can lead to costly legal disputes over title and priority, potentially putting your ownership rights in jeopardy. So, recording a deed is really crucial to maintaining clear and secure ownership. Lenders insist on recording a mortgage because it makes their lien visible, dated, and easier to enforce. This recording process anchors who gets paid first if the property is sold or foreclosed, which is crucial in protecting their financial interest. Recording creates clarity and shared protection for both sides of the loan. For lenders, it provides clear notice of the debt and a cleaner title history. For borrowers, it offers protection from later claims that could complicate ownership. Priority really matters when multiple interests compete for the same property. Essentially, a mortgage is recorded so the lender's claim becomes officially secured in public, establishing priority against any claims that might come after. This system benefits everyone by ensuring transparency and fairness in property transactions. Here we have an overview of the 4 common types of deeds you might encounter when property is transferred. First up is the warranty deed, which is probably the most comprehensive. It guarantees that the title is clear and that the seller fully owns the property. This gives buyers broad protection and peace of mind. Next is the quitclaim deed. Unlike the warranty deed, this one simply transfers whatever interest the grantor has, if any, without offering any guarantees about the title status. It's much less protective for the buyer and often used between familiar parties. Then there's the grant deed, which offers some assurances but not as many as a warranty deed. It guarantees that the title hasn't been transferred to someone else previously and that there are no undisclosed liens, but those assurances are limited. Finally, the deed in lieu of foreclosure transfers the property back to the lender instead of going through foreclosure proceedings. This option can be a way to avoid the lengthy foreclosure process. Keep in mind, the exact language in each deed is crucial because it defines the promises made and protections offered to the buyer. Not all deeds are created equal, so understanding these differences is key when dealing with recorded property transfers. Here we're looking at some common mistakes and defects that can occur in deeds and how they affect the recording process. First, a misspelled name often still gets recorded. While the title can remain traceable, this kind of error creates a flaw in the record. The fix is to record a corrective deed or an affidavit that clarifies the legal owner's correct name. Next, a wrong property description might also be recorded. This is more serious because it could point to the wrong land or cause a major defect in the title. The solution here is to prepare and record a corrected deed with the accurate property description. Then there's the issue of missing signatures. Without the required signature, a recorded deed is usually ineffective and may not validly transfer the title. The fix typically involves creating a new deed that is properly signed and acknowledged. The key takeaway is that recording checks if a document can be filed, but it doesn't guarantee every detail is correct. Some mistakes can be fixed with corrective deed, but others can actually undermine the transfer process entirely. Recording gives public notice, but it doesn't ensure the deed is error-free. This is why careful review and correction are critical. Now, let's talk about the statute of frauds, which is a crucial concept in real estate law. The key takeaway here is that transfers of real estate must be in writing to be legally valid. This means that if someone makes a verbal promise to transfer property, that promise usually can't be enforced in court. The law requires a written document as proof. This written requirement helps prevent misunderstandings and fraud. Additionally, it's important to record the property deed properly, which serves as an official record of ownership and protects your rights as a property owner. So, always remember, the transfer needs to be documented in writing and recorded to be legally recognized. Recording fees and costs can vary significantly depending on the county. When you record a deed, you'll typically need to pay a filing fee to the local recorder or county clerk. This fee tends to be modest, but there is no uniform national price. It all depends on where you are. On the lower end, fees usually range from about $10 to $30, which is common in many counties for basic deed recordings. However, costs can increase, sometimes going above $50, especially if your document has extra pages, or if the county has specific indexing rules or additional surcharges. It's important to remember that these costs aren't set in stone. They differ based on your location, the type of document, and the particular fee schedule of your county. So, always check local requirements to know exactly what you might expect to pay. Here, we focus on the recorder's office and its critical role in maintaining administrative accuracy. This accuracy is essential because it keeps ownership records searchable, trackable, and official, ensuring property ownership is clearly documented and accessible. The main task of the recorder is handling the official filing process that transforms a signed deed into a part of the public land record. This process involves several key steps. First, the recorder receives the documents. Next, they verify that all necessary information is complete. Then, a recording number is assigned to the document for tracking purposes. Finally, the recorder maintains these records over time, ensuring they remain accurate and reliable for public reference. This systematic approach is what upholds the integrity of property deed recording. Here we see the outcome of transitioning to digital recording, which brings several clear benefits. The recording process becomes faster, cleaner, and much easier to verify compared to traditional methods. Importantly, the legal purpose behind recording documents remains unchanged. What really shifts is the efficiency of the process itself. Looking at the modern shift to e-recording, historically, documents were handled entirely on paper. They had to be physically walked to the recorder's office, where they were stamped, indexed, and stored manually. This was time-consuming and resource-intensive. Now, with electronic filing, documents can be submitted instantly and accessed right away. Many counties have adopted this digital approach, allowing deeds and other paperwork to be sent, confirmed, and retrieved much more quickly. This transformation not only saves time, but also reduces errors and improves overall accessibility. To find a recorded deed, you can follow a simple four-step process. Most counties provide access to recorded deeds either through the recorder's office in person or via their online database. First, you'll want to visit the county recorder's office or their website. Next, you can search by either the owner's name or the property address. Once you find the recorded deed document, you can locate it easily. Finally, if you need an official version, you can request a certified copy, which is the most commonly used for legal or title-related matters. This process helps ensure you have accurate and legally recognized documentation when dealing with property records. When it comes to how deeds are indexed, there are a few common methods you should know about. First, deeds are often indexed by the grantor, which means they're organized under the name of the person or entity transferring the property. This helps when you want to track documents related to the seller. Then, deeds are also indexed by the grantee, which organizes records under the person or entity receiving ownership. This is useful when you want to find documents relating to the buyer. Some offices take a step further by allowing searches based on the property address or parcel details. This makes it easier to find records if you know the location but not the parties involved. Now, about the property deed recording itself. The recording index is essentially the recorder's organized system for finding these recorded documents. It's important to understand that the index doesn't replace the deed. Instead, it acts as a guide, listing key details that help you locate the actual deed quickly within the official filings. This organized approach is crucial for efficient and accurate property record searches. Now let's talk about the risks associated with unrecorded deeds. When a deed is never recorded, it means there is no public notice that ownership has changed. This lack of transparency creates a significant legal risk because the new ownership isn't officially documented for others to see. As a result, the owner has much less legal protection against future claims. If a dispute arises or another party claims an interest in the property, unrecorded deeds make it harder to defend ownership. Overall, relying on an unrecorded deed means vulnerabilities increase, and proving ownership becomes a more complicated challenge. So, recording a deed is a crucial step to ensure clear, legally recognized ownership. Adverse possession refers to a situation where someone occupies land for a long enough period that they can claim legal ownership of it. This claim generally hinges on their possession being open, continuous, and unauthorized with a specific time frame defined by state law. Now, recording your deed plays a crucial role here. When you record your deed, you create a clear, public record of your ownership. This serves as strong evidence in ownership disputes and boundary conflicts. It also makes it much harder for someone claiming adverse possession to argue that the land was ownerless or abandoned. While recording your deed doesn't stop someone from trespassing on your property outright, it does provide you with a stronger legal advantage if the situation escalates to a possession dispute. So, the key takeaway is that recording strengthens your ownership trail and protects your rights in case of adverse possession claims. Title insurance serves as an extra layer of protection for buyers and lenders. While recording a deed gives public notice of ownership, it doesn't always catch everything. Title insurance steps in provide financial and legal protection if a title issue arises after the deed has been recorded. The key idea here is that title insurance can protect against hidden problems that public records might miss. For example, it covers hidden liens. These are unpaid debts tied to property that weren't discovered before closing, which can threaten clear ownership. It also protects against previous ownership disputes, such as claims from unknown heirs, forged signatures, or competing assertions of ownership that could surface down the line. Additionally, title insurance helps guard against recording errors, like mistakes in indexing legal descriptions or filing details. These errors can create defects in the title even when a deed has been properly recorded. In essence, title insurance provides peace of mind by safeguarding your investment from unforeseen issues that could impact ownership rights. The bottom line is this: recording your deed truly matters. When you record a signed document, it transforms from a simple piece of paper into a protected public claim of ownership. Simply put, if you own the property, make sure you record it. Let's walk through the key reasons why this is so important. First, legal proof. Recording your deed creates an official land record that directly ties the property to your name. This is critical because it serves as undeniable evidence of your ownership. Second, public notice. Once you record the deed, it alerts everyone that you are the rightful owner. This transparency helps prevent confusion or disputes down the line. Third, priority rights. By recording promptly, you protect your ownership claim from any competing claims that might arise later. It effectively puts others on notice that you have the priority interest. Finally, property protection. Proper recording greatly reduces the chances of disputes, misunderstandings, and avoidable title issues. It streamlines ownership and keeps your property rights clear and secure. So remember, when it comes to your property deed, recording isn't just a formality. It's a crucial step to safeguard your investment and peace of mind. To sum up, recording a deed is essential because it makes ownership visible and traceable in the public record. This process helps protect your ownership rights against any conflicting claims that might arise later. By recording deeds, we preserve the chain of title, ensuring a clear history of property ownership. However, since errors can still be recorded, it's important to carefully review the deed before recording. Additionally, title insurance offers an extra layer of protection beyond just recording, giving you greater peace of mind.